Ladies and gentlemen, Hex community of all ages, hey, Jake Freedom here, coming to you live from YouTube for this week's HexDekanomics. And this week we're going to up the value a little bit on the deck that we're going to actually build or show you guys. And we're going to go from $10 to $50. It's quite a jump, I understand, but 10 to 50 when we're talking about card games isn't really a whole lot. It doesn't take many cards to actually do that. So the deck we're going to be talking about this week is, how do I want to explain it? It's kind of a mill deck, but it's not meant to be a mill deck. It's meant to populate the graveyard of anything. You know, it could be your opponent's graveyard, your graveyard, whatever it may be. And basically what we're playing around is we're going to be playing around High Tomb Lord and kind of Menacing Grolk, because Menacing Grolk really has a really big part in the actual deck here. So let's go ahead and get started, and let's take a look at what we have in the actual deck. So for starters, we have 11 Sapphire Shards, and we have 10 Blood Shards. So therefore, we have a Sapphire Blood deck. We have 2 Crackling Vortexes, and we have 4 Cunning, or Shard of Cunning. That is for the Blood Sapphire colors. And we also have 4 Inquisitions, just to get some more cards into the graveyard. We have Time Ripple for some control. We have Crackling Wit for some card draw. We have Murder, again, for some control. It doesn't work very well against artifact decks, but it does work. We have 3 Buccaneers here. Again, for control and getting a troop out. We have some counter magic. 3 of those. We have 2 mesmerize. So if you have a big troop there that you just can't deal with, let's just say if it is a artifact troop that's really big and you can't murder it, obviously. Mesmerize works really well. Dementia Daisies, I should say. That's there just to bury some cards into the opponent's graveyard to fuel High Tomb Lords. We have 2 of those. We have 2 extinctions. If we just run into a jam where we cannot stabilize the board state, we need something to be able to get ourselves out of it. Extinction works. Mastery of Time. It's in here. It can get you out of a jam. It's not really for doing High Tomb Lord. Hitting and then playing Mastery of Time and then hitting again. I mean, that's what my intentions were, but it never really comes down to that, because by the time you get High Tomb Lord out and by the time you're ready to go, the amount of cards that are in the graveyard, High Tomb Lord's health or its attack and toughness are well above what the champion should be normally. But if it's not, if High Tomb Lord's only at 11 and he's out and you were able to swing with him, Mastery of Time can kind of help. But this card probably could be traded out for something else. But I just have 2 of them in there for that reason. Menacing Grolk is a huge helper in this particular deck here. So if you have High Tomb Lord out and let's just say he's at 20 health. 20 health and toughness. And your opponent has 5 or 6 troops, and some of them are flyers, some of them are on the ground. Menacing Grolk comes out, you tap all the opposing opponent's troops, and you can swing in freely. So if I were to do anything to this deck after playing it a few times, Mastery of Time would be something I would consider trading out. I don't know what with, maybe a couple more Menacing Grolks, or maybe 1 more Menacing Grolk, maybe add in another Time Ripple. I'm not really sure what I would do, but Mastery of Time is definitely something that could come out of the actual deck here. And then for the champion, we have Nin the Shadow. Again, it's not for mill, it's just to fuel the graveyard, since High Tomb Lord is based off of cards in the graveyards from any opposing side, whether it be yours or whether it be the opponent's. So that's the deck, and when I built this deck, it was at that time it was $50 and like 30 some odd cents. So it's just a tick over $50. So I let it slide because it's the The description is $50 or under, so we don't hit the 51. So we're still $50 and under per se. So let's go ahead and give this a whirl here. Let's go ahead and play. Let's go ahead and play the AI with this deck here, and see what we can do with it. Oh, it's all the way at the top. That's right. 50 or under. Version 1 is what I call it. I don't come up with fancy names for my decks because I really don't care what they're called. You know, I have a couple that are named, but no big deal. So we're going to be playing the one deck that I have yet to beat with this deck. So we'll see how we can do here. Let's see what our opening hand is. Our opening hand looks awful. And I will be the first to tell you that this is the first time that I've had an opening hand with 0 resources. Of course it has to happen, you know, on camera. Why not? Let's do that. So in this hand will probably be all resources. Yep. Huh. Imagine that. We're going to keep that anyway, just because resources are better than non-resources. So let's just go and fire off a Sapphire Shard there and get that going. So the Palamedes deck, when you play the AI, it's pretty quick and can get pretty big quickly, because I don't know. I haven't look at another shard. Just haven't had much luck against this particular deck here. Now, when we're talking about the Crackling Vortex, some people may be asking, well, why do you have Crackling Vortex in there? It's kind of an expensive card, and it is. I had to actually buy one to actually fill this deck. Basically it's there because you gain 2 charges, and if you have the Daisy card out, it buries 4 cards instead of just 2. That's kind of why it's there. Outside of that, there's really no reason to it other than you gain 2 charges, and you can like I said, you can bury 4 cards, and you can possibly, you know, you're obviously going to be able to use your charge power once again. So that's why that's there. That could be a card maybe you could swap out for something else, but so when I built it, that was the reasoning for it. So maybe we'll get lucky here, and he's not going to get much, so we'll see. I'll just go and play a Sapphire, and we'll just go ahead and pass the turn. We'll save Crackling Wit. See what he does here. I mean, not that I can respond to anything, but I like to play Crackling Wit at the end of my turn, but that's just me. Alright, let's go and play it now. Counter magic, okay. Alright, so we're definitely drawing a lot of shards here. So let's just go and drop another. We probably should have played the Shard of Cunning, but no big deal. We'll just bury some more cards of his. Hopefully getting rid of some relevant stuff, but who knows. Extinction, even if we were to play Extinction right now, would not be a good option to play. We're just, you know, eliminating 1 card, which isn't the best. Alright, so now we're getting to a point here where a Quick Strider, it might cause some serious damage. We're going to take 5 here. So right now we're on less than a 4 turn clock. So we need to be able to deal with that threat pretty quickly. Alright, looks like we'll be able to. And now here's where we have some decisions to make. Do we play Extinction to eliminate all of his stuff? Yeah, we'll see here. We're going to take 7 more damage, obviously, but maybe we can get something. Maybe we can pull a murder next turn and come back from this. We'll see. So he's gaining some health, gaining some more health, gaining a charge. So that's right. Taking 7 damage. This could be tough. This could be tough, but you never know. See, we got 9 cards in the graveyard right now. So let's go ahead and pull a card out of his hand. What would be better? Immortal Decree or... I'm gonna have... Man, those are both pretty crappy cards. I'm going to take a Mortal Decree here, just because, and then we can maybe counter magic the inner conflict there. So let's go ahead and wipe the board. So we have nothing up here, just we need to be able to survive here. And if we can get High Tomb Lord out or some type of troop out, you know, we'll be doing okay. So he can't do anything because all we know he has inner conflict and a resource in his hand. So there we drew our murder. Okay, well we can't really do anything with that right now, so that's fine. What we're going to do, I think we'll go ahead and play this. And we'll just go and grab a blood shard. Just to get ourselves a little more even. And we'll go ahead and bury some more cards in the opponent's library there. Like I said, this is not a mill deck, but it plays like a mill deck in a way, just to get cards in the graveyards to fuel High Tomb Lord. One thing I could probably say about this deck is some more card draw might not be bad. What is going on here? The screen was kind of messed up there. That's okay. You guys could still see the main part of the board, I hope. Not sure why that was like that. Good thing I looked over and saw that. Anyway, hopefully it's not too big of a deal. All right, let's go ahead and play Crackling Vortex. We're going to gain 2 charges here. We'll be able to use our champion power again to fuel the graveyard. So now if we get High Tomb Lord out, he's going to be an 18-18. We'll do an Inquisition just to get rid of some more crap out of his hand. And now we're going to pull Inner Conflict out of there. So he has nothing to do with High Tomb Lord when we get him. And we still have counter magic, so we can play against stuff like that. Let's see, he's not going to have a turn, which is good. All right, again, we will not have a turn, which is fine, because we're not, you know, the board's empty, so we don't have to really worry about any threats. You know, we're only at 8 health, he's at 28 health. So hopefully it's not going to be a race to see who gets to what first. All right, Highland Shinobi. This card here is Swift Strike, again a charge, exhaust target opposing troop. It could be bad right now, but it's not that bad right now, so we're going to let that happen. We're not going to use any of our cards right now to do anything with that. He does not have, you know, haste speed, and we are certainly drawing a lot of shards. Hopefully we'll be getting to some of our good cards here shortly. All right, so we can't really afford to take 3 damage right now, so we're going to go ahead and kill that. We just can't afford to take the 3 damage, and we don't. He has nothing that he can pump into it, so it doesn't matter if we play it on our turn or not. All right, a quick Strider probably could have counter magic that, but it's not a big deal. Wow, we have drawn a lot of shards. Okay, so we're going to take 2 damage here. We're going to need a troop on our side quickly to be able to defend against this guy. Because, again, we're still on a 4-turn clock here. But hopefully we'll get something that will be able to defend shortly. All right, Mesmerize. Mesmerize, not a bad draw there. We'll just go ahead and cast that right away so he can't ready. And we'll pass the turn. Mesmerize, way better than a resource right now. We have plenty of resources to deal with everything that we need to do. Okay, now we have a Protectorate Clergyman. Probably should have counter magic that, but I'm saving my counter magic for something that comes up against High Tomb Lord. So again, we're going to take 3 damage here, which is not good. We need to get to some of our troops, and we're not running a lot of them. We don't run a lot of troops in this deck, and this is one downfall. Like I said, this is the one deck that I have yet to beat with this deck. So I'll be surprised if I can do it. It'd be awesome if I can. All right, now we're in trouble. Now if we can draw another Extinction, that would be great. But I think it's going to be another Shard. So there we are. We're pretty much dead. We drew a shit ton of resources and not a lot of cards, and you saw it, we're not running a lot of resources. We're running 10, 11, 21, 20, 25 resources total, and we drew a crap ton of them. So unfortunately, it happens to be with this deck every time. I mean, we certainly could have beat this deck. He didn't have a whole lot out there, but you know, what do you do? So that's that. Sometimes it happens. I will have to say that the Shard, Screw, and Flood is far more apparent than any FNM you ever go to, if you go to an FNM, if you know what FNM even means. So well, that was that. So again, like I said, this deck was just a tick over $50, $50 and 30 some odd cents. Said a couple cards could be switched out. Okay, look at that, 21, 23, 27 resources. So we could probably scale that down a little bit, maybe add another Buccaneer in, maybe another Mesmerize. You could do anything you want, you know. If you take a Shard of Cunning out, it's definitely going to drop the price. I think those were, you know, 25 cents a piece, 30 cents a piece, somewhere right around there. Again, you know, these aren't, you know, going to be top tier decks. You got to remember, even this being $50, this is still, you know, 2/3 of the cost of one of those top tier decks that are running $150. So, you know, 200% more than you could have one of those top tier decks. But, you know, somebody starting off is not going to want to drop $150 on a deck that may or may not carry them through something, you know, through a tournament or whatever. I mean, you got to be able to play the decks right. And, you know, with that game there, I would say, yeah, I probably could have countered Magic the Clergyman, but in the end, it wouldn't have mattered because the Skyl Griffin came out, and we would have just been, you know, we would have got one more card draw. Maybe it would have helped, you know. So you could probably call that an error, but, you know, it happens. You know, do you want to waste that? I'd like to save that counter Magic for when High Tomb Lord comes out, and so they can't, you know, like I said, inner conflict that or something along those lines. So yes, that is the HexDekanomics for this week here. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that deck. Like I said, I just kind of throw these decks together. I kind of, you know, I see something, like I said, I'm not going to claim to be the best deck builder out there. You know, I don't know if there is the best deck builder out there. You could hand somebody the best deck, and they could play it and lose. You have to know how to play the deck. You have to know when and when not to, you know, counter or do an instant or something or a quick action. Sorry, along those lines. So it's just, you know, and it just all depends on how the cards are dealt to you. So being $50 deck, getting beat by the AI doesn't mean it's horrible. I took this deck and actually went all the way into the second phase of the arena last night, and just, you know, I forfeited. I withdrew and quit because it was getting late. You know, so the deck has some possibilities, but if you take it to a constructed tournament, you know, don't plan on it taking you too far. Maybe a 2-4 or 2 out of, if there's 4 games, maybe a 2-2. Just depends on how it draws out. So, other than that, if you liked the video, go and give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more of these videos, click subscribe down below. Oh, I almost forgot, you know, if you want to leave me a comment, do that down below in the little comment section down there. And we'll have another video for you soon.